My next guest is Tarsh Bamblett, founder of Miss Soul, and thank you very, very much for joining us, Tarsh. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Benjamin. Yeah, that's crazy.
How
But
are
I'm here and glad to be here.
you? You got a little India RE vibe going on with that little head do too. I didn't mean that.
Feeling beautiful. That was a beautiful song and intro to come into this space.
Yeah, nice. Hey, I'm excited to talk about your latest venture. One of a few really good things you've been involved in over the years. But tell us a little bit about Miss Soul.
So Miss Soul dropped into me, inspired from my beautiful family at 3KND Radio, and just hit me that when I operate and speak, it's not the transmission from just me, it's the soul, the creation of all that I am from all the people before me. And that's how I landed on Miss Soul and inspired the vision of what it stands for.
What does Miss Soul stand for? What's its pursuit? And I love your language. It dropped in. Oh man, you just speak in a cool way. What do you mean by dropped in? Actually, what do you mean dropped in?
Yeah,
where did it drop from?
Dropped in is something when I say or that I can paint a picture to people is that gut feeling. Yeah, it's like getting out of your head and it's dropping into your body, and that gut. That's the intuition. That's the fire. That's the thing that is like right where it needs to be, and you just feel it in your body, and that's when I say it dropped in from the universe, into me, and I was like, that's right. And what Miss Soul stands for is purely connection to self, culture, and country. And the vision of that is being able to, as an Indigenous woman, create a space to heal from generational trauma, but with the power and connection of integrational healing. That's with you and I and everyone else in between the gaps, beyond the gaps, and kind of that's where we go, beyond the gap of conversation.
Intergenerational trauma may be pretty new to some people, and in the case it is. There's also another kind of group out there, I call them a group, but a mindset where people don't believe that intergenerational trauma is around for Indigenous people. We're both in that space where you hear people dismiss it and go, come on, pick up your game. Like, what's your experience with intergenerational trauma, and is it still current in your world?
Yeah, so when we talk about generational trauma, everyone experiences their own trauma in their own journey and their own story and own life. But as an Indigenous woman, I carry the trauma from my mother and my grandmother, and it's carrying on the stories. And as Aboriginal people, we educate, we share, and we grow with the stories that we tell. And some of the stories of where we've come from have been with pain. And we all experience pain in one form or another. And the generational trauma is just carrying those wounds, that heaviness. And it's about healing oneself. We actually heal the lines before us. And then we allow to heal and raise the next generation in front of us as strong, resilient, grounded children that have a foundation to walk alongside everyone, in the journey as a nation.
Do you think parents and, big respect to parents, and you're one of them, but, that older generation, they've kind of blocked or shielded pain, especially to protect their kids. But, you just talk about how it can be very healing. It's part of the story. Do you think that's got to do with the problem, and it's got a lot to do with the solution about getting out there and actually just owning the pain? But it's so hard for people, how do you create a space where people can start digging around and healing?
Yeah, 100%. So when I say generational trauma, there's a cultural aspect to that, but also literally generations. There's my generation, there's my parents' generation, and then my grandparents, generation. And it's like, there's gaps in between that because what they've experienced in their time may not be relevant or still around, or, you know, culture and the times evolved. And there's gaps in between that we, like just in our own family lines, have to map back to, journey in that path of, cool, I need to go along and walk the journey to discover who I am and where I come from. And it's closing that gap, you know, and it's going beyond the spaces between you and I, and it's allowing to understand what life is like, you know, as we say, stand in somebody else's shoes. Well, I've created a space where I get to walk a journey, and I invite other people to walk the journey with me, you know, through the gaps and beyond the gaps. And the only way to the healing and to the answers, you have to go through it. There's no way around it. There's no shortcut. There's, like, it's a lifetime that we've got to live, and we need to journey through the generations, acknowledging the past, embracing the present, and building the future. It comes from the past first.
Yeah. Oh, it's so true. Do you think there's ever a reality that we won't be recovering from trauma? I mean, well, trauma's a thing, isn't it? Like, it's kind of continual, and I wonder whether people's sometimes issue is that they don't recognise that they have got trauma. Like, it can come from. It doesn't always have to be like the most worst thing on the planet that you know, like like some serious life events. We think about trauma like generational. It must have been really bad, but that's the truth. But there's also there's unseen trauma. Like, it could be a breakup, or it could be the loss, the expected loss of your parents, or
and there's trauma that happens in everyone's life, and there's on all different scales. Like, we all experience loss and grief and pain in one form or another, but it's the trauma that we carry that we never really truly heal. You know, we never fully like, oh, I'm healed, you know, and that's the end of it. That's it. I've gotten to the destination of healing, and I'm as confident and comfortable, you know, with who I am and where I'm at. Like, no, it's a process. Like, it's a continuous, everyday, like, you could say, fight, you know, to feel solid in who you are. And we just get better at dealing with the trauma that we have experienced.
You think humans in general are getting better?
Yeah, we just get better at dealing with it. And it's up to us as an individual to, like, that's our role and responsibility we need to play in our lives first. We need to heal us, and then we allow other people around us to heal, because they get the best versions of us, you know, and in return the world heals.
What's and what's your approach to it? How are you how's Miss Soul come into this space trying to heal, and what kind of people do you deal with, and what's your setup?
So there's the groundwork, and, you know, that's just working in community with my people. And, you know, I do workshops, you know, with dance and music and language, and in the schools, because every child that's born in this world has to go through an education system, and that's how we tap into our people. That's how we change from a marginalized, you know, group. We change with targeting the big groups at once, and we see we see the shift in a magnitude of this next generation, just like they know no different. They know what they know, and I continually shine lights in the shadows that of the things that they don't know. You know, and then I move into the people of, cool, there's business owners, there's entrepreneurs, there's coaches and teachers and principals that are in that era of, cool, this was never spoken about. We don't know how to approach the conversation. I have fear, shame, guilt. Cool, let's sit in a room and talk about this, and this is what's called beyond the gap. We know that there's gaps between, you know, a culture divide in a society and a nation. Let's walk beyond the gap and go to this conversation together, and let's, like, it's okay to have these things, but let's talk about it, and how can we move forward, and how can we make our lives and surrounding better for you and I. Yeah, it's integrating these things, it's practical things in my life, in my home, in my family, in my workplace, in my business. So I'm able to connect and communicate with, people. Like culturally, I can have a conversation without holding these things. It's letting go. And then there's, I've dropped in again, something else dropped into me on my purpose and my mission to be here in this world, and it's to literally walk the journey, walk the story from my grandmother being a part of the Soul and Gen, and in honor of those children taken, lost, and also the parents, the mothers in particular, that had searched for them, had longed for them, had discovered the journey back home. And I'm gonna do the walk from Tennant Creek, Phillip Creek, where my grandmother was taken, with 18 other children, and walk all the way to Darwin, where she was kept in reserve for 14 years of her life. And
wow.
In honor of the women before me and their strengths of who they are, where they come from, what they did, for me to have a better understanding as an Aboriginal woman myself, this is calling my soul and my body back to that mother country to do this. I have to walk in the journey so I can come back and I can share with the people here that need to hear this story and understand a perspective, an Aboriginal perspective of the stories of the people's journeys that have walked in this time before us. And what a better way to do that.
Yeah, that's unreal. That's unreal. When's that happening?
Yeah, so June, July,
cool.
In 2022. I've got 18 months to prepare.
Cool.
I'm going to need the whole team preparation, the physical, the mental, all the emotional training. But what it's going to cover is 1,000 Ks in 40 days. And I'm putting it into the universe. And I want to invite, the world to walk the journey with me.
So in particular, you touched on a few things there. In particular, you're dealing with women?
Yeah, so particular in women, well, one, I am a woman, so I have that, space of relation, and, I come across many mothers in my time, and that's just organic. I share my experiences and my life lessons from, being a mum to my little boy, and young women in particular. As a young woman, it's being able to provide a space to those that can grow up being culturally connected, providing a camp on country for young women to thrive in both culturally, but also how we can continue our place and in our spaces in society and what it looks like around us.
That walk that you talk about, it reminds me that how much we should highlight a bit more that the fight. We always kind of talk about and hear about the result, how it's so damaging and stuff, but very little is talked about the amazing power in the fight. It's not over, and it's kind of almost like we're continuing the fight? Like, you can't give up. And we talk about standing on the shoulders of our ancestors. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, 100%. When I stand, I feel 1,000 and more of my ancestors behind me. And, I've heard that when I speak, people are like, I see people behind you. I feel this light and presence of many generations before me. And it really is continuing the fight. As just an individual, you have to continue to push on for what it is you desire. And I feel like connection gives us purpose. When we can connect to ourselves and our culture of our history, of who we are, where we've come from, our lines, and also the country, like an understanding like how connected we are. And our theme, ending the year off with always was, always will be. Yeah. That's a continuous phrase that will last forever, and not only our people will be chanting it, it's everyone else, and understanding what those words mean. and the journey of every Indigenous person has walked.
Are you like?
But we get to walk it together,
Yeah,
we get to
yeah.
walk that journey together.
Are you parenting right now at the same time with one eyeball?
I've got kids, and this is a
I
real
love
life.
it.
Like,
It is,
I'm
huh?
not here to fluff things. Like, he wants food, and it's his last week, and I'm in my room. But that's how, like, we get to be real about this stuff. Yeah.
Totally. Put him on. Where is he? Where's the young man?
He's here. He's here. He's like, he just ate my lunch for today.
Hey, buddy.
Say hey.
Hi,
What's happening? What's your name?
Jirali.
Jirali. That's a pretty cool name. You got the last day of school today? Or last few days?
Yeah, last few days.
Woo! School holidays coming up. We have kids on this show all the time. We love it. We love it.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
get my boiled eggs?
Jirali's been, he's watched me as a
Can you
6-year-old.
get my boiled
I
eggs?
can get your boiled eggs,
Yes,
like when
mate.
duty calls. But, even that, becoming a mother to a 6-year-old boy, he's watched me do these workshops. He's watched me, dance. He's watched me speak to people. He's watched
Put them on.
people open up and cry,
Mm,
about this. Like, he's seen and he's experienced these emotions.
that's
and
good.
this is a space I want to
Come
continue
on.
to grow for other parents, other mothers, other children, that this is how we get to be.
How do you find, this is very real what's going on right now, how do you find the business side of things juggling motherhood? And, for the mums out there that still dream, and I feel like that's a common thing with women, it's a very old stereotype, and I'd love to break it, and so probably would you, is mums, you could not rest. I don't want to dismiss the hardness and the energy that takes being a mum and a wife and a friend and a daughter and a sister to people. To find the time to generate another part of your life, which business really is about that. It's another allocation. And for mums out there, what are some things that you've learned about juggling motherhood, being present, but really investing in your business to the point where you need to make sure that it keeps going? Like,
it's 100%.
It's a real shift.
100%. So, I come in to parenthood as a teen mom, and I had all these fears and these judgments and these comparisons, and I need to do it this and I'm not doing it that way, and she's doing it that way and I'm doing it wrong, And I learn in my time is that every child is different. Every parenting style is different. Every approach and interaction and communication that you have with your child, and even if you have multiple childs, they're different. And we've got to allow our children to teach us how to raise them. Yeah? Thumbs up to that. We got to allow our kids to be the teachers as well in this process, and that they have control of their life, because we don't control them. We don't own them, yeah? And just like our business, it's a creation that we allow to be born inside of us. And we've got to go with the flow. We've got to go with the direction. And there's no like, that was the wrong thing to do, or a bad, intuition about it. Like, no, you've got to trust that it's the right thing for you. And it's the lessons. We can't fail at anything. I don't believe in failure. It's actually allowing us to make the mistakes and learn from the way it's made us feel. Cool, that was shitty, that didn't feel good. That was nice, I can keep going that way. And I've been doing this stuff for 7 years on this journey of like creating the business and allowing something. It dropped in this year. I've been doing it for 7 years, on this path. It doesn't happen overnight. And I want to say this to the women and the mothers, or even just anyone out there wanting to do it and they're scared to take the risk. You got to do what's like in your best interest, what's calling you, what excites you, and trust that gut. The gut intuition. It's like out of the head and into the body, and do what you can with what you've got. If anything from this interview, it's do what you can with what you got. If you're stuck in a car driving, like many hours. Cool. You want to create a podcast? Do a podcast in your car. Yeah?
Yeah.
Like, there was no right or wrong on how to do this thing. There was no book on it. There's no, one masterclass that teaches you all things about how to parent and business. And like, it's a journey, and that's the beauty of it. I've experienced things along the journey that I'm like, I'm thankful for, I'm grateful for. I've had wins, I've had losses, I've had, people come in my life, people go in my life. It's just like, you got to take it all.
It's part of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's brilliant. You literally answered my next question, which it was just thinking about ways to kind of get some momentum, and that really touches on it quite directly. Then is just like try things, like try little things, or not even call them little things, like just try things that are available. That is cool, because it could it inevitably will go in the direction that it's meant to go if you keep kind of fueling it.
Yeah. And one thing, like, suggesting is just let it happen. Like, surrender is something that I've like come to terms with. Like, what does that even mean? Like, surrender. Like, no, if it's, something showing up that's not meant to be, it's going to keep hitting you in the head, smacking you in the face, like, giving you these punches that are like, cool, it's not right, change the direction. And like, you've got to like be allowed and give yourself permission to let go of things.
I've got this. Is it Finding Nemo when they're all like going, the turtle's going with the flow, man? He's gonna drop into the flow and jump in.
Yeah.
And there's this real peacefulness. I think that tortoise was stoned, by the way. But anyway, but there is just jump in and find your spot and go with it. It's beautiful.
This is it. And sometimes the currents of the ocean that you're in, because we're all swimming in this big ocean we call life.
Yeah.
Sometimes the currents are like, cool, I'm on my stream and it's fast and it's fun and it's feels good. Other times you're going to be in the deep, dark abyss in the trenches that you can't see shit, and you feel scared, and there's other things around you that are big, that that are bigger than you, and like you can't see. You've got to be with yourself in those times. Like, trust you're in the right place, and that light will come. That next exit will come. That person in your life that you've been waiting for, like, will come.
It's so much more enjoyable too. Like
100%. It's
versus
like
stressing, like wondering what's going on tomorrow, and you're not in the right spot, and there's all this displacer. Like, you kind of keep displacing. I'm not meant to be here. I'm too early. I'm too late.
Yeah.
It's so much more enjoyable just sitting back, and you're not sitting back doing nothing. Like, things pop up. It's so true.
Yeah. Let the calling happen. Let the journey happen.
I don't know.
You just keep walking.
Don't know if this is a great analogy, but I and it's a very it could be gender wrong, but guys, when they drive, seem to like fang it and cutting down side streets and chucking a left lane and and maybe not all women, but sometimes I know I'm the worst passenger driver. I'm like, chuck a left down here, we'll get down here, we'll cut past the red light, we'll go around here, we'll chuck a U-turn on the freeway, we'll drive 20 k's an hour, but we're constantly moving. We end up in the same spot probably. Like, you see the same car at the next set of lights, and they've just been like cruising, sitting in traffic. I don't know if that means anything to anyone, but
no,
it's relating to me right now.
I've experienced that. My partner's like, cool, I just want to get there, and I can't wait. I'm just like, but I don't know, like, everyone's different. I've gotten to a space where I'm like, cool, it's gonna happen, whether I'm gonna rush or stress about rushing. Shit's gonna happen. You're gonna get a red light.
Yeah. Hey, tell us a little bit about how people can follow you and support you with Miss Soul. How's programs looking in current climate? And you've got a fair few comments as well. Tarsh, you're a very strong woman. Blessings to you. You can't see the chat. You can look back later, but I'm not lying. These are real comments. This is real. Love these words. You are a brilliant woman. There's a little fire emoji. Someone just shared it on heaps of, I love this black business focus. I've had some amazing guests and inspiring stories. Alice, your story, your journey, Tarsh, sharing to bring healing, hope and encouragement. One of those emojis. So much goodness in this. Thank you. Yeah. So go on. Tell us. You got a lot of ladies on the line right now, loving it.
I just want to send my love to you all. And if that's the message, it's like, just be the love that you want to feel from other people, and give that to yourself first and foremost. And when you shine with love, other people, give love back to you, and you're able to give more love to others. But yes, get in touch with me. I'm on social media. Tarsh Bamblett on Instagram and on Facebook.
Cool.
Website will be launching early, 2020.
Cool.
Got a live event running the 30th of January. It's called Beyond the Gap, and this is a call out to the non-indigenous people to come and sit in a room, and let's talk about the conversations that we don't go to, that are in the gaps. So the way to close the gap is to go beyond the gap, and I'm inviting you to join me in those conversations. Live events will be out the year, but our first one's in 30th of Jan in the northern suburbs here, so we're putting stuff out about that. But there is women camps
cool.
for young women, Aboriginal women, older women, so from 18 to 28, covering my younger sisters, the 13 to 17. And then I've got a women for the non-indigenous community as well, women's camp. And we're just unearthing the women, So women unearthed in a camp where we can just go on country, we can connect deeply to the culture, the history, and allow ourselves, our mind, body, spirit to be immersed into what this land culture has to offer, and deepen our connection. And you can jump on to follow the journey, to walk the journey with me, and follow that over the next 18 months. But the walk is in June, July 2022, and there will be an invitation for people that can find out how to be a part of it, walk it, support it, jump on board, and make this vision of mine and many other people to honor a reality. So
so good, Tarsh. Thanks for jumping on this morning. You have reminded me hugely just to kind of keep just being patient but content, and letting things just kind of evolve, and follow what stirs you. It's beautiful. Thanks for the beautiful reminder this morning. Go boil some eggs, huh?
My pleasure. Remember to breathe, people. It's a busy, fast time of year. A big year, and that's one thing I teach the kids when I do workshops. It's like, let's just breathe. And they're amazing at it. Yeah. The children are amazing at it. Listen and watch and learn from the children, because they could teach you a thing or two.
How many
adults out there? How
many boiled eggs is a little man eating right now? When he says, "Put me on some eggs," this is very once we're warriors, but
he was like, "I'm not waiting for you on the eggs, so I'm just going to eat your schnitzel for lunch today." So
there you go.
This is real. You got to roll with it. It's the joys of parenting, joys of life.
Nice one, Tarsh. Have a beautiful week, and thanks for joining us as part of Black Biz Week. You're the best.
Thanks, Troy.
You're more than welcome.
Thanks,